Hi guys, welcome back to Riderz. Today we are reviewing a 2010 S1000RR. Listen to the end if you want to hear the exhaust noise, but for now I will hand you over to David to tell you some more about it.
Hello, I'm David. This is my Bmw S1000RR. So this is the Gen 1, obviously the Gen 2 from 2012 had a slightly different shaped tail end, which then the whole bike then basically changed again in 2015. They changed the tail unit, the lights and whatnot, but this one is the Gen 1, 193 brake horsepower we've got in there, revs up to about 14,100, and that power is right up there as well. So I mean you'll hit the power at about 8,000 revs, and then it'll just melt your face off right the way through to 14. 112 newton meters of torque. Claim 0 to 60 of 2.7 seconds. I think it claims a standing quarter mile in around 9.9 seconds, which for a standard bike is just mental. But yeah, this is pretty much standard. I've got a couple of bits on here which came with the bike when I bought it, which are the that's the Aquapovic HP exhaust straight from BMW. That's an optional extra, obviously. I've got the double bubble, I would say tinted screen, but it's not tinted, it's just black. And we've got these nice wings on the front here as well, which are obviously, you know, extras as well. They're quite nice.
How many gears have they got, and what's its top speed?
6 gears, and it's got a top speed, a claimed top speed of 186 miles an hour.
So engine size, it's 1000cc, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, I think it comes in at 998 or 999 probably, but yeah. So it's 1000cc.
4-cylinder as well, isn't it?
4-cylinder, yeah. So it's a flat 4. I think the engine block, I believe, was originally sort of based off of a K5 GSX-R 1000. So I believe that's what BMW did when they originally decided they were going to make a super bike. They took a K5 or a K6 GSX-R 1000, they stripped it and they sort of rebuilt it as their own. It's got a similar sort of aluminium twin spar frame. The engine bolts onto it, so you do get a bit of vibration through the bars, but nothing that's a killer, you know. But it does. I did previously own a GSX-R, and it does feel very Japanese when you ride it, you know. And then it's like a Japanese bike with German precision, you know. So yeah, it's very good.
Best of both worlds, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
brilliant.
Yeah.
What are the brakes like?
Brakes are brilliant. Yeah. So you know, front brake, I've never needed more than 2 fingers. You got ABS as well. You got Brembo's front and back as well. And the front ones are gold, which looks very nice, obviously. Extra BHP for that, I think, you know. Yeah, it stops very well. Once you get them up to temperature, when they're cold, they can feel a little bit wooden, but I think, you know, a lot for a standard braking system on a bike, I mean, you can't fault it.
What's the suspension like on the rear and the front?
I quite like it. I mean, I don't think it's branded. I mean, they're stock, you know, BMW parts, I believe. Obviously, you got full adjustments, you know, which actually, funnily enough, it can be done with the key. So the key's got a flat edge on the end of there, and you can use the key to adjust your suspension as like a flathead screwdriver. Which is pretty good because you can change it on the fly, you know, well, not on the fly, but you know, as you go, stop, change it, and it's all numbered and color coded, so you can remember it, check the manufacturer's handbook, put it back to standard, start again. You know, you can adjust it, see where it is. You know, it's very good, very clear. As for the back, I don't think the key works for the back. Oh yes, it does. Yeah, it's got an adjuster in here, same as the ones on the top of the forks. So you can use your key for that as well. It tends to prefer the long sweeping bends, like the little tight stuff like roundabouts and things like that. All of a sudden you can find it's a little bit heavy all of a sudden, but I mean it still goes. But yeah, the long sweeping sort of faster bends definitely are where it shines. So
what is the weight and the seat height?
So it is 183 kilograms dry, and then when you put, you know, fluid, oil, coolant, you know, brake fluid, everything in there. It rises to about 204 kilos curbside, and yeah, I mean, it's very well balanced, so you don't feel like you're riding a 200 kilogram bike, you know. In the slower stuff, every now and then, you know, riding through towns and that, you can start to feel the weight a little bit, but obviously this bike, I mean, it was built to be doing, you know, higher speeds. As soon as you get up there, the weight just disappears. And it has a 820mm seat height, which isn't bad. It's, I think, one of the slightly lower ones for the 1000cc superbikes, which suits me, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I'm 5'4" and I can get a leg over it, so yeah.
Can you flat foot it or not?
No. So I get toes on my left foot, and that's, you know, you get it balanced. It's well balanced. You got to keep an eye out for potholes and don't put your foot in them, you know. But and I've been riding it, like I say, for several months now, and I've not had any issues with the actual height of it. It's one of those things, you get used to it. But yeah, obviously for a taller rider, there's going to be no issues at all. I think I know a few other people who are a bit taller, and it is sort of fairly roomy for the taller riders. You know, it's quite comfortable. Of the 1000cc superbikes, I think it is meant to be one of the most comfortable, but it is still a sports bike, so it's not, you know, you're still going to get sore back and sore wrists and that after a while. But yeah, as far as superbikes go, yeah, it works.
Pretty comfy.
Yeah.
What about the tank size and range?
So I think it's a 17.5 litre tank. I think it claimed about 32 miles to the gallon. So, you know, I mean, you don't buy one of these going, oh, I'm going to get 1,000,000 miles out of my tank. You know, I mean, I feel that I put premium in this, obviously. I fill it up for about 18-19 quid from the light, and you get 120 miles to the light, and then your trip will change to a 30-mile countdown once the light comes on. So 115, 120 miles, depending on how well behaved you are, and then yeah, another 30 miles beyond that. So 150 miles until you're sat on the side of the road feeling like a numpty.
Cool. As you were talking about the dash, what sort of settings have you got on there and on your handlebars, that sort of thing?
So I've actually got 4 rider modes in this. They come as standard with 3 rider modes, but they do come with the red chip, which isn't always installed, but it does come with the bike, which I've installed, which opens up the slick mode. So you got rain mode, which caps the power down to 150 brake horsepower. It ramps up the ABS and the traction control to their, you know, maximum settings, and it's like, I mean, the power delivery is almost non-existent. I mean, if you're riding it in rain mode and you're coming off, then you're a bit of a numpty. It looks after you. Everyone looks at them and they think, oh, you know, 1000cc superbike, you know, world superbike, you know, it's going to be leery and aggressive, but you'd be surprised at just how gentle it can be, how civilized it can be. So yeah, so that's rain mode, and then you've got sport mode. I haven't actually tried sport mode, so that gives you the full power, but it's got a bit more, you know, electronic assist, a little bit more ABS, a little bit more traction control, and a bit of a softer power delivery. And then you've got race mode, which is pretty much where I live, and that's full power, full everything, aggressive throttle, and it is aggressive. Above, like I say, above 8,000 revs, it's just gonna, you know, tear your face off. I think these have, so they've got 8 injectors, and up to about 8,000 revs they run off the first 4 injectors, and then you hit 8,000, you get the other 4 injectors come in, and it just howls. It turns into a different bike, and off you go. So that's race mode. You got minimum traction control, minimum ABS, and it takes the ABS off of the back wheel, so you can start backing it into corners and that, which I'm nowhere near good enough to do, but it's nice to know that you can, you know. And then you got slick mode, which just turns everything off. That's for, you know, on track, slick tyres, but it's not needed at all whatsoever. But again, it's just another one of those things, you know, it's nice to know you've got it. Obviously, you can individually change the ABS and the traction control settings on here as well. And then you've got, you know, your mode buttons over here, and then you've got, you know, everything else you would expect. You've got your indicators, horn, you know, all that sort of stuff. Hazard lights, which are quite nice. It does have a lap timer as well, which I've got absolutely no idea how to use, but again, it's there. I'll figure out at some point. I've not actually been on the track with it yet, so I've not needed a lap timer just to go to the shops and back. But yeah, it's there, and I'll figure it out eventually. I've got the handbook at home, so I'll figure it out.
Storage wise, you haven't really got much on there at all, have you?
So I mean, you can fit your phone under there and a set of keys, and away you go. That's it. If you haven't got your phone with you, you can fit a jumbo sausage roll under there, but that's it. So
that's always good to know.
Yeah.
So good points wise, I'm assuming the quick shifter is probably one of them.
Yes, yeah, the quick shifter is brilliant. It goes up, doesn't go down. It does, I believe it has a slipper on the way down, so you don't really have to match the revs. You just let the clutch out and it won't lock the back up, you know, on the way down. On the way up, yeah, quick shifter is probably one of my favourite toys. It just sounds amazing. It's just so smooth. It just, yeah, you just keep it pin wide open, bang out of a gear, and it just there's no weight in, there's no delay, there's no nothing, it just pulls. Oh, it does have anti-wheelie as well, which is linked to the traction control. So obviously you can't turn that off unless you put it into slick mode, which obviously turns everything off.
Is there any common problems or any bad things that you've had go wrong with this bike?
No. I mean, I've not had any issues. I mean, I've had it since, you know, the 1st of April. I've done about 4,500 miles on it, and I've not come across any faults at all whatsoever. My uncle also has one. He's had his for, I mean, he's been riding them since they came out, and I've not known him have any issues.
Have you ever taken a pillion on it?
No, I've got pillion pegs, but I didn't actually get a seat with it when I bought it, so I need to get a seat for it at some point. But I mean, the seat's basically a fag packet. I've been on the back of one of these. I wouldn't recommend it. It's absolutely terrifying.
And how much do you get this one for?
So I picked this one up second hand, at 4,013 miles on it. And I picked this up for 7,995.
So overall, after owning it, would you recommend this over another bike?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, 100 times over. I mean, it's great fun. It does everything you want it to, and more. You know, there's still, like I say, bits and bobs that I don't even know how to do yet, which it's got, that it offers, and it's for its year as well. I mean, you look at the bikes of 2010. I mean, the competition. I mean, the BMW when they came out were just years ahead. You know, I mean, this still puts in a shift against the bikes of today. You know, so yeah, for a fraction of the price. So yeah, I mean, you can pick them up for around 7,000 for an old higher mileage one. But yeah, you pay around 8,000, you get a good quality, looked after one, and yeah, you just can't fault it at all whatsoever. It does everything, and it does everything well.